Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. Also make sure you turn off your hot and cold water supplies. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the Frigidaire washer, spin bearing washer. It's going to be a very easy repair and it'll only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new spin bearing washer. The spin bearing washer sits right below the spin bearing. The main reason you'll be changing it out is if it's damaged and you're getting a metal on metal noise coming from inside the washer. In order to get to the part, we have to lift up this washer top. First thing we're going to do is put a piece of tape across the lid so that when we tilt it back, this doesn't fall and bang on the console. Then we're going to take a putty knife, and there's two locking clips, one on each side. All you have to do is follow it in until you hit them. The one on this side is done the same way. Once you have both tabs released, you can lift the top up. You want to be careful on this one because there's no hinge stops to stop it from falling all the way back. There's these little brackets here, but they aren't that heavy duty. Or you can put a towel across the lip right here and then rest that against the back wall. Or you can make a lanyard like we have to support the top. Once you have the top supported, we have access to the part. Now that we have the top up and out of the way, we can remove the agitator. First thing we're going to do is take off the fabric softener dispenser. It's just snapped in there, so we're just going to reach underneath it and lift it off. If it comes in half, make sure you take both halves out, put them back together, so we can put it back later. With the fabric softener dispenser out of the way, we can reach in and grab this cap out. Sometimes it's in there pretty tight with all the soap residue, so if you have to, you can grab it with a pliers and lift it out and set it aside. Now that we have the cover out of the way, we can use our 1/2-inch socket with a ratchet and extension and take the bolt out that holds the agitator in. If it spins while you're trying to take it out, you're going to have to reach in and hold the agitator and break the bolt free. Once you have the bolt out, you can lift the agitator out and set it aside. Now we can remove the tub cover. There's a bunch of tabs that go around the outer edge and lock it to the outer tub. So you want to press down above each one to kind of compress the seal and take some of the tension off the tab. And then you can pull it out and release it. Then you can go around the tub and do all the other ones. Once you have all the tabs released, you can lift the tub cover off and set it aside. Now that we have the tub cover off, we can clean off the inside of the tub. You want to clean everything in here really good. We have to get these bolts out if we can. Sometimes they're locked in there and have to be cut off, so we'll see how this goes. But you want to make sure everything's really clean so we can get the inner tub out and get to the part. Now that we have the hub pretty much cleaned off, we still have to clean out the inner tub, but we're going to take some Rust Buster and start soaking this right now and let it soak in as long as possible because we don't want to break these bolts if we don't have to. Alright, while you're letting that soak in, we can clean out the rest of the tub. Now that we have the washer cleaned up and the penetrating oil is sunk in, we can take our 1/2-inch socket and remove the bolts that hold the trunnion block together. Once you have the screws out, the trunnion block should come off, and then we can lift the inner tub out. And while you have the inner tub out, you want to make sure you clean all this up as best as possible. Now that we have everything cleaned up, you want to let this soak for a good amount of time with your penetrating oil on it. These are notorious for sticking to the shaft due to all the soap over the years and any corrosion that might be holding it on. So you want to work it loose, and you can get down in here and clean this area out and then kind of flex it to break it free with a large screwdriver. You can even try grabbing the agitator shaft and rocking it back and forth to try to break it free. We had to get ours apart. We actually had to take these 5 bolts out, lift the inner tub out, left this on the shaft, and then we broke it free with the inner tub out of the way, and then we put it back together. Sometimes these get stuck on here so bad that you have to chisel them off and buy a new one. So just be very careful and let it soak as much as you can and slowly work it free. Once you have it broken free, then you can lift the inner tub out of the washer. Now that we have the inner tub out of the way, we can take the tub seal out. If you're doing this job, it's probably suggested that you may want to change the tub seal anyways, but if you're going to try to reuse it, you want to be careful when you take it out. You want to make sure that you clean off any rough edges from this shaft so that when we pull the seal up, it doesn't get damaged. And then we're also going to take a little bit of liquid detergent and lube up the shaft so that we can carefully pull that out. Once you have it lubed up, so you can slide it up the transmission shaft, you just want to carefully work it up so you don't damage that seal as you drag it over any imperfections that may still be there. Once you have it out, you can set it aside. Now that you have the upper half of the seal up, we can take the bottom half out. You want to very carefully take a flathead screwdriver and clean out this edge right here. This is where the bead sits. You want to get any gunk out of there off. Once you have the little groove cleaned out, we're going to carefully press one side of the seal in and lift up on it, and that'll help pull the seal lip out of the tub. So all you have to do is compress it a little bit inwards like this and then pull it up. Once you have it out of the tub, you can lift it off and set it aside. Now that we have the tub seal removed so we don't damage it when we take the outer tub out, we're going to remove the front panel so we can access everything underneath that holds the outer tub in. We're going to use our Phillips screwdriver to take these screws out. Once you have the screws out from the bottom, we're going to have to release these 4 tabs that hold the panel in to the cabinet. All you have to do is press down on the front panel. Once you have the tabs released, you can lift the panel away and set it aside. Now that we have access to the lower half of the outer tub, we can remove everything that holds it in. First thing we're going to do is use our Phillips screwdriver to take out the screws that hold the shield in that covers the motor. Once you have the screws out, you can let the shield sit on top of the motor. We can go to the other side and take the drain hose off. We're actually going to disconnect it from the pump rather than up here at the top by the bottom of the tub. It's pretty tight in there and it's much easier to take this clamp off. So we're going to do that and leave the hose attached to the tub when we flip it over. We're going to throw a towel down to catch any water that may come out. Most of the water should already been drained, but make sure you put it down to catch any that might come out. Then we're going to use our pliers to remove that clamp and take the hose off. Once you have the clamp moved up, you can grab the hose and spin it and break it free and pull it off the pump. Now that we have the tub hose off the drain pump, we're going to use our 1/2-inch socket with a ratchet to take the bolts out all the way around the tub. Now we can do the other two. Now we're on the back left corner of the washer. We're going to disconnect the water level pressure switch hose. All you have to do is reach down and unplug it from the side of the tub. Once you have the hose off, we can grab our socket and ratchet and reach down and take the bolt off. Once you have it loose, you can just reach down and unscrew it with your hand. Now we can do the one in the right corner. Before you lift the tub out, you want to look at the transmission shaft. Any of these little rust bumps that are on the shaft, anywhere along the whole length, may cause the bearing to jam up as you're trying to lift it off. So if you have to, you can use a file and get these nice and smooth, and then you can put some penetrating oil down here on the bearing right here, so that when you lift it out, it slides out easier. Now that we have the outer tub off, we can reach down and lift the spin bearing washer off. All you have to do is lift up on it. Once you have it off the shaft, you can pull it out of the washer. Here's the old spin bearing washer next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. To put the new spin bearing washer on, all you have to do is slide it down the shaft and set it on the top of the transmission. Once you have it in place, we can put the outer tub back on. To put the outer tub back on, we're just going to carefully line it up with the transmission shaft, then lower down into place. Once you have it down and in place, you want to turn the tub so all the bolt holes line up with the suspension. With the tub in place, we can use our 1/2-inch socket and ratchet to put the bolts in all the way around the tub. Now we can go to the one in the right corner. Now we can do the one in the left corner. With the bolt tightened down, we have to reconnect the water level pressure switch hose to the side of the tub. So we're going to carefully reattach that. Make sure you push it all the way down so you get a good seal. Once you have that reconnected, then we can go underneath and connect the drain hose. All we have to do is grab the drain hose and hook it up to the pump. Make sure you push it all the way on. And then we can grab our pliers and move it down so we get a good seal. Once you have the clamp in place, then we can go to the other side and put the motor shield on. To put the shield back on, we're going to line up the shield with the screw holes in the outer tub. And then we can use our Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Once you have the shield mounted, we can put the front panel back on the washer. To put the front panel on, we're going to put the 4 tabs through the cabinet and then lift it up to lock it in place. Then we can put the screws in to hold it down. With the panel in place, we're going to put the screws back in at the bottom. We're going to use our Phillips screwdriver to put them in. With the outer tub back in place, we can put the tub seal in. We're going to use some liquid soap again. Whether you're reusing the old one or putting a new one in, like we suggested, you want to put a very light coating of liquid soap around this lip so we can push it down into the tub easier. Once you have it lubed up, we're going to slide it over the shaft and push in the front half so it seats, and then slowly work your way around. And then on the back half, you just push it down so the seal sits flush into the lip right here. Once you have it seated evenly all the way around in the lip, we can take some more of the liquid soap and we're gonna lube this transmission shaft up so we can slide that other half of the seal down without damaging it. To put this half on, you want to put a little bit of liquid soap on the inner lip right here. Not a lot, but it'll help it slide down easier. And you can very carefully work it down and push it against the lower half of the tub seal. Once you have it in place, we can grab our liquid soap and put the inner tub back in. Remember, it's kind of heavy and awkward, so if you need to, get somebody to help you. But you want to set it down onto the transmission shaft. Don't let it drop onto the seal. Once you have it on there, slowly lower it down. Now that we have the inner tub in, we're going to carefully spin the transmission shaft around so we get the flat of the shaft lined up with this open space where the block is going to go across and lock the inner tub to the transmission shaft. When we took the bolts out, we saw that there was some orange thread locker in there. We got the bolts out so it wasn't the red type that doesn't come out. So we're just going to put some of this blue thread locker on to help secure these in place. Once you have the thread locker on, we can put the bolts in the block into the tub. All right, we're going to put the bolts through the back side. Then we can put on the block and tighten down the bolts. We're going to use our 1/2-inch socket with the ratchet to tighten them down. As you start to tighten it down, if you notice that the block is a little bit low, you may have to lift it up a little bit so it goes into the groove. Once you have it in place, we can tighten them down. You want to go back and forth so one doesn't tighten down more than the other. And make sure the bolts are tightened down evenly. So this is straight across. Once you have it tightened down and secure to the transmission shaft, we can continue to put the washer back together. Now we can put the tub cover back on. You want to line it up with the outer tub and make sure this is in the corner where the bleach dispenser goes. And you can go around and make sure all the tabs are lined up where they're supposed to lock in, and make sure none of them are inside the tub. Once you have everything lined up, then you can go around and snap it into place. Once you have the tub cover installed, we can put the agitator back in. To put the agitator in, all you have to do is set it down on the transmission shaft. You may have to spin the upper half so it lines up with the splines and goes all the way down. Once you have it in place, we can set the bolt in there. And then we can use our 1/2-inch socket with the ratchet and extension and tighten it down. Once you have it tightened down, we can put the cover in. All you have to do is slide it down and push it into position. Once you have the cover on, we can snap the fabric softener dispenser back in. There's little tabs that go in the notches, so make sure you line those up and snap it into place. Now we can close the top. We're going to lift up on it a little bit to take the tension off the lanyard so we can unhook both ends. Once you have it removed, we can lower the top down and snap it onto the retaining clips. Once you have the top locked down, we can remove the tape. Now that you're done repairing the appliance, you can plug it back in, turn the water back on, and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.